Hello, this is Linda. Hello, this is Linda Nemefora here, and I welcome you to another episode of the networking series. I hope you're super excited. If it is your first time coming to my channel, hit that subscribe button as well as the bell to get a notification when the next value drops. And if it's your first time watching me on Facebook, click on that follow button because that is one of the best decisions you're going to make in your life this year and beyond. And I'm going to share with you why, right? So when I was making a prospecting call, I got on a call with a potential lead, right, a potential client, and he said something very strategic, which is why I'm making this particular series for you, just in case it's something that burdens your heart. I was trying to be able to identify his key, it's a he actually, his key relationship deficiencies, and so we can be able to know how best to help him particularly. And then because he's a teacher, or rather an educator, right, he said something. He said that he doesn't want to be a speaker, he wants to be a teacher. So based on that conversation, I had to ask him, what is your personality type? Although he wasn't aware, but that is basically why I am doing this series. Probably you are an introvert, or you are an extrovert, or you are an ambivert. These two things are going to open up your mind, teacher or speaker. Now, one advantage, one of the things you need to know if you are an introvert, depending on the factors that affected your introversion, maybe your upbringing, maybe your school, maybe your exposure, or whatever it is that affected your introversion, because there is no personality type that is bad, actually. So we need a complement of each other to actually try. Now, whatever you as an introvert, right, you as an introvert, I'm going to share these two things based on the kind of audience that they do have. And so a teacher, especially in the school setting, in quotes, especially in the school setting, have a specific audience that is very consistent. Now, if you want to build your people skill and you are afraid of the crowd, first be a teacher. You know why? Because a teacher, especially in a school setting, has specific sets of students per time. It has a specific set of students. For instance, you are teaching JS1 students that are 50 in an academic year. So in 12 months, you have a specific kind of student and all of these things. What that is going to help you is that, first, you need to build an attribute that you need to know more of your student more than your subject, because it is the people or the student that gives value to what you are teaching. Imagine they are saying that you are the great teacher, and then the student is not doing well in school. There is no result to show for you being a great teacher. So it's actually the people that put value to things, like I said. And so being a teacher as an introvert is going to help you get familiar. When over time in a full academic year, you are going to consistently be teaching these students different subjects, or as the case may be, a particular subject that is in secondary schools, right? You're going to be teaching them this particular subject for one academic full year. It enables you to be able to understand that it takes time to actually build a relationship. With time, at least by 3 months, the first 3 months, right, is getting to know these students. And over time, they don't just live to the next academic year. They don't just live the next term and you start building a relationship from the beginning. No, they will stay with you in the second term as well as the third term before they move on to the next one, which means that avails you that consistency and that specific kind of audience to get familiar, to stand your ground into knowing how best to do presentation, how best to know the student that you are working with, how connected you are with them before they move into an academic year. So it means that you are going to have a specific kind of student per time. So you are not overwhelmed by a lot of crowd, just like a speaker do have, but you are going to have a specific kind of person you begin to nurture those rejection, those attributes that those students are going to bring, you begin to use that to actually build your skill. By the time you begin to know how best to relate with these people and in a full academic year, the next academic session, you will use the experience of that 12 months to actually finesse the next academic session. So that way, you learn how to actually move in a progression of building your people skill capacities. Now, as a speaker, you can now be able to transit to being a speaker. This is basically for an introvert who is afraid. I don't know how to do communication. I don't know how to do presentation. This is why I'm sharing this for you. You can actually start in a school setting, teaching a specific student for a particular year to build your people skill. But your focus must be on the student more than your subject. That you have exoteric knowledge and your children are not impacted by that same knowledge. It's an error. It means there is a lot of work to do in your people skill. And that is why good teachers there is variation and modes of teaching that enables the students' engagement with that exoteric knowledge you want to pass across. Because the bottom line for both either the speaker and the teacher is impact. So what am I trying to say? As an introvert, you can start as a teacher in a particular school setting and build your people skill. But your focus must be on the student more than the subject. Now you can now transit from being a teacher to being a speaker. A speaker has more broader and diverse audience. You can have an exoteric knowledge of one thing, but you can speak to diverse people. You can speak in a conference field with 3,000 people from different walks of life. Right? You're not speaking to a specific customer avatar. You're not speaking to a specific kind of student who their brain, So that way, it is now going to enable you to know how to face the larger audience because you have built relationship over time with the student and the specific audience that you felt comfortable with as an introvert. So understand that the audiences are different. As an extrovert, yes, you can accommodate a lot of people, but make sure you are not just talking, make sure that you are connecting. Always make a point with a story. Two of them works hand in hand because people are going to relate with you based on your story more than your point. And so that is why I'm bringing this particular series for you as an introvert who is afraid of a large crowd and you want to be a public speaker and you want to travel around the world. There is always a route to this thing. You can become a teacher in a school setting and then transit into building the basic capacity that will help you to accommodate a larger broad of audience, becoming a speaker. You can start with your church. There is always what we call Sunday school for Pentecostal churches. You see them during that particular Sunday school. There are sets of teachers that help these specific people, probably the children department or whatever department, and you are very consistent with that over time. It helps you to actually build your presentation, communication, and your people skill, right? The major thing you need to understand is that beyond the message, understand the audience. It is the audience that places value. Because value is defined by the receiver, not the giver. So if there is a feedback from the audience, that will give validation to the message that you passed across. So always make sure that your focus is on people, not about the number of people who are there, but about the quality of that transfer of impact. Because networking is the currency of value transaction. So you want to build your connection well. You want to actually start from somewhere to actually build confidence. You want to actually start embracing working on your communication skills, presentation skill. Don't separate being a teacher from a speaker. They are doing the same thing but different audience. But as an introvert, you can start as being a teacher, get acquainted and get familiar so you can be able to go to a broader audience as a speaker. If this was helpful, click on subscribe button, or if you want more information or engage in a conversation, a one-on-one consultation with me, there is a whole lot more. Your business, your personal life needs strategic connections. You need to be able to understand that your people's skill is very, very paramount to build that tribe, to build that community, because relationship gives you, your vision gives you desire, your relationship gives you discipline, and community brings you wealth. You want to know how best to transit from all of this, and probably you have a lot of hindrances that is stopping you, probably your personality type, or you have a lot of myth about this networking. Click the link on my description, or if you're watching me on Facebook, click the link on my bio, and of course we are going to get you started. We're going to have a conversation with you to be able to know how best to help you. And through the community we are building, the Confident Global Champion, we are going to hold you by the hand with consistency till you become and have massive results. You are going to accomplish more in less time if you are able to leverage on the mentorship resources that we make available in the community. With that, I know that you have gotten more than enough. Until I come your way again with the next value in the next series, I still remain your friend, and you're going to get networking.